New certification practice content is released every week. Subscribe to stay current and visit cloudcertificationstore.com for weekly releases and complete practice ebooks. You're watching episode 4 of 15 in our AWS Certified AI Practitioner, AIF-C01, practice playlist. We'll continue the series with questions 31 through 40. If you missed an earlier episode, you can find the complete playlist on this channel. Question 31. A company must log all Amazon Bedrock API requests and retain logs securely for 5 years at the lowest cost. Which combination meets this? Option A, AWS Cloud Trail. Option B, Amazon CloudWatch. Option C, AWS Audit Manager. Option D, Amazon S3 Intelligent Tiering. Option E, Amazon S3 Standard. The correct answers are A and D. Option A, AWS Cloud Trail. Option D, Amazon S3 Intelligent Tiering. Explanation. Cloud Trail records API activity for Bedrock, creating an auditable trail. Storing logs in S3 with intelligent tiering automatically moves objects to cheaper tiers over time. This combination balances compliance retention and cost efficiency. It also supports encryption and access controls for secure storage. Why not option B? CloudWatch useful for metrics/logs but doesn't provide automatic long-term cost tiering like intelligent tiering. Retention pricing can be higher for multi-year needs. CloudWatch doesn't replace CloudTrail's API audit granularity. Hence, suboptimal. Why not option C? AWS Audit Manager helps organize compliance evidence but doesn't capture API calls. It leverages logs produced elsewhere, e.g., CloudTrail. On its own, it won't meet logging/retention needs. Therefore, insufficient. Why not option E? S3 Standard reliable but more expensive for multi-year cold storage. Without tiering, costs accumulate significantly over 5 years. Intelligent tiering reduces TCO while maintaining durability. Thus, E is not the lowest cost choice. Question 32. An e-commerce company wants personalized search recommendations for each user. Which AWS service meets this? Option A, Amazon Personalize. Option B, Amazon Kendra. Option C, Amazon Recognition. Option D, Amazon Transcribe. The correct answer is A, Amazon Personalize. Explanation. Personalize builds user item recommendation models from interaction data. It supports re-ranking, related items, and real-time personalization. Integration SDKs simplify deployment in search interfaces. This directly addresses customized ranking per user. Why not option B? Amazon Kendra Enterprise search over documents, not user-specific recommendations. It excels at semantic retrieval, not collaborative filtering. Using it for personalization misses the core capability. Hence, not suitable. Why not option C? Amazon Recognition image/video analysis. No concept of user preference modeling. It cannot score search results by likely user interest. Applying it here would produce no personalization benefits. Therefore, irrelevant. Why not option D? Amazon transcribes speech-to-text, unrelated to ranking or recommendations. It processes audio rather than user behavior. It doesn't fit a search personalization pipeline. Thus, not applicable. Question 33. A hospital's AI must keep sensitive patient data within the country. Which data governance strategy ensures compliance? Option A, data residency. Option B, data quality. Option C, data discoverability. Option D, data enrichment. The correct answer is A. Data residency. Explanation. Data residency mandates that data is stored and processed in specific jurisdictions. It addresses legal requirements such as health data localization. Enforcing residency impacts where compute, storage, and backups live. This is the direct control needed for geographic compliance. Why not option B? Data quality ensures accuracy and consistency but doesn't restrict location. You can have high-quality data stored illegally abroad. Quality must complement, not replace, residency controls. Therefore, not sufficient. Why not option C? Data discoverability improves cataloging and searchability of data assets. It doesn't prevent cross-border transfers. Useful for governance but orthogonal to residency mandates. Hence, not the right strategy. Why not option D? Data enrichment adds context/features to datasets, not geographic controls. It can increase sensitivity, tightening residency needs further. But it doesn't enforce location policies. Thus, it's unrelated. Question 34. A company needs to monitor ML system performance with a highly scalable AWS service. Which should it use? Option A. Amazon CloudWatch. Option B. AWS CloudTrail. Option C. AWS Trusted Advisor. Option D. AWS Config. The correct answer is A. Amazon CloudWatch. Explanation. CloudWatch ingests metrics and logs at scale, supporting alarms and dashboards. It integrates with SageMaker endpoints, EC2, and containers for end-to-end observability. You can track latency, error rates, and throughput across environments. It's the standard tool for runtime monitoring. Why not option B? AWS CloudTrail focused on API activity auditing, not performance metrics. It's essential for governance but not for latency/throughput monitoring. Using it for performance would be indirect and incomplete. Thus, not ideal. Why not option C? AWS Trusted Advisor provides best practice recommendations, cost, security at the account level. It doesn't stream application metrics or logs. It's advisory, not real-time observability. Therefore, unsuitable. Why not option D? AWS Config tracks resource configuration changes and compliance. It doesn't measure runtime performance KPIs. It complements governance, not monitoring. Hence, not the right choice. Question 35. An AI app on Amazon Bedrock runs inside a VPC with no internet access allowed. Which feature enables compliant connectivity? Option A. AWS Private Link. Option B. Amazon Macie. Option C. Amazon CloudFront. Option D. Internet Gateway. The correct answer is A. AWS Private Link. Explanation. Private Link exposes AWS services and partner endpoints over private IPs in your VPC. It avoids public internet paths, satisfying strict regulatory controls. It's compatible with service interface endpoints for many AWS APIs. This matches the no internet constraint. Why not option B? Amazon Macie sensitive data discovery for S3, unrelated to network path isolation. It doesn't provide private connectivity to services. Using it won't solve egress restrictions. Therefore, not applicable. Why not option C? Amazon CloudFront, a public CDN that serves content over the internet. It conflicts with no internet mandates for internal workloads. It cannot connect VPCs privately to service APIs. Hence, unsuitable. Why not option D? Internet Gateway explicitly enables internet access for the VPC, violating the requirement. It would expose resources to public routes. This is the opposite of what's needed, thus incorrect. Finding this useful. Subscribe for weekly certification practice content designed to help you prepare, practice, and pass. Visit cloudcertificationstore.com for weekly eBook releases and complete question banks. Question 36. An AI practitioner adds explain reasoning step by step to prompts for numerical problems. Which technique is this? Option A, chain of thought prompting. Option B, prompt injection. Option C, few-shot prompting. Option D, prompt templating. The correct answer is A, chain of thought prompting. Explanation. It solicits intermediate reasoning traces to improve accuracy on multi-step tasks. This can reduce errors in arithmetic and logic by structuring the solution path. It's especially effective when paired with verification or self-consistency. Therefore, it matches chain of thought. Why not option B? Prompt injection, a security attack that tries to override system instructions. Asking for step-by-step reasoning is benign guidance, not an exploit. The intent is transparency and accuracy, not subversion. Hence, not injection. Why not option C? Few-shot prompting provides examples but doesn't inherently request reasoning steps. You can combine few-shot with chain of thought, but they are distinct. Here, the Q is explicit reasoning instruction, so C is incomplete. Why not option D? Prompt templating standardizes prompt structure, not reasoning content. Templates can include code T instructions, but templating itself isn't code T. The defining element here is show your work. Thus, D is not correct. Question 37. Which AWS service makes foundation models available to build and scale generative AI apps? Option A, Amazon Q Developer. Option B, Amazon Bedrock. Option C, Amazon Kendra. Option D, Amazon Comprehend. The correct answer is B, Amazon Bedrock. Explanation. Bedrock provides managed access to multiple FM's text, image, embeddings via a unified API. It supports model evaluation, guardrails, agents, and knowledge bases. This reduces integration friction and accelerates delivery. It's AWS's primary FM gateway. Why not option A? Amazon Q Developer focused on code generation and developer assistance, not FM hosting. It consumes models rather than serving them to your apps. Using it as an FM platform is a mismatch. Therefore, not correct. Why not option C? Amazon Kendra Enterprise Search that indexes and retrieves documents. While useful in RAG, it doesn't expose FMs for generation. It solves a different layer of the stack. Hence, not applicable. Why not option D? Amazon Comprehend offers pre-built NLP tasks, not general FM selection and orchestration. It does not provide broad generative capabilities. It's complementary but narrower in scope. Thus, not the answer. Question 38. A mobile app for visually impaired users must hear speech and speak responses. Which solution meets this? Option A, deep learning speech recognition. Option B, ML models for numeric patterns. Option C, generative AI summarization. Option D, image classification models. The correct answer is A, deep learning speech recognition. Explanation. ASR models convert spoken audio to text, enabling comprehension of user queries. Paired with TTS, the app can respond audibly, closing the loop. Modern end-to-end architectures, RNNT/conformer, deliver robust accuracy. This directly satisfies accessibility needs. Why not option B? Numeric pattern models focused on structured numeric data, not audio waveforms. They lack components for feature extraction from speech. They cannot handle natural, continuous speech inputs, thus irrelevant. Why not option C? Generative summarization summarizes text. It doesn't transcribe audio or produce speech. You may use it after ASR to condense content, but alone it's insufficient. It doesn't fulfill I/O modality requirements. Hence, not suitable. Why not option D? Image classification operates on images. The use case is audio-centric. It offers no speech recognition or synthesis capability. Therefore, unrelated to the requirement. Question 39. To enhance detailed reasoning and step-by-step explanations for complex tasks, which prompting works best? Option A, few-shot prompting. Option B, zero-shot prompting. Option C, directional stimulus prompting. Option D, chain-of-thought prompting. The correct answer is D, chain-of-thought prompting. Explanation. CoT explicitly requests intermediate steps, improving multi-step problem solving. It often pairs well with verification, e.g., check your work. This increases transparency and allows post hoc validation of logic. It is the most direct fit for the stated goal. Why not option A? Few-shot examples help but don't force structured reasoning. Without explicit step prompts, responses may remain terse. CoT yields more consistent stepwise outputs. Thus, A is weaker for this goal. Why not option B? Zero-shot provides no examples or structure, relying on general model ability. It tends to produce less stable reasoning for hard problems. The lack of scaffolding makes it suboptimal here. Therefore, not ideal. Why not option C? Directional stimulus prompting, a research term for nudging outputs with cues, less standardized than CoT. It may influence style but not guarantee steps. CoT remains the clearer, proven technique. Hence, not the best choice. Question 40. A company wants its FM to stay current using the most recent data via regular updates. Which strategy fits? Option A, batch learning. Option B, continuous pre-training. Option C, static training. Option D, latent training. The correct answer is B, continuous pre-training. Explanation. Continuous pre-training incrementally ingests fresh corpora to refresh base knowledge. It reduces model staleness without full retraining from scratch. This approach balances cost with currency of facts. It's the intended method to keep FMs updated. Why not option A? Batch learning periodic retrains in large chunks which can be slow to reflect new data. It risks longer windows of staleness between cycles. The requirement emphasizes regular, ongoing freshness. Thus, less aligned. Why not option C? Static training, one-off training with no updates, guaranteeing drift over time. Facts, policies, and best practices evolve, making static models obsolete. It fails the most recent data goal. Therefore, not suitable. Why not option D? Latent training, not a recognized mainstream strategy for keeping FMs current. Ambiguity here suggests a distractor. It doesn't map to standard ML ops patterns. Hence, incorrect. Thanks for studying with us. If this episode was useful, follow the channel and pass it along to a colleague or friend preparing for the certification. Continue with the next episode in the playlist to keep the momentum going.